Welcome to the Business with Purpose podcast.
Welcome to the Business with Purpose podcast.
Here's our host, Molly Stillman, our mom.
Welcome to the Business with Purpose podcast. I am your host, Molly Stillman of stillbeingmolly.com, and this show is all about bringing you the stories behind the brands, companies, and small businesses that are changing the world. Each week, I interview an entrepreneur, CEO, nonprofit director, community leader, or just an incredible person who is trying to make a positive impact not only through their personal life, but also with their career. My goal is to show you that no matter what you do for a living, you can make an impact right where you are. My guest this week is Eric Erdman, the founder of the Give a Child a Voice Foundation. When Eric Erdman learned he had advanced brain cancer in July of 2016 at the age of 16, he had no idea all the ways his life would change. He faced medical procedures, including both brain surgery and eye surgery. He lost hearing as well as sight in one of his eyes. However, the fear and grueling procedures aren't what Eric remembers most about the months after he was diagnosed with Anaplastic Grade III Ependymoma. He remembers the voluntary kindness of friends, families, neighbors, and even strangers that showed him and helped him find his voice, to share his story, and to speak out. The coming together of so many different people, all with the same goal of showing support, transformed his perspective on life and inspired him to pay it forward. Today, after 4 brain surgeries, 3 rounds of radiation, a round of chemo, and as Eric continues to battle complications, he is more excited than ever to continue to help other struggling kids find their voice through his foundation, Give a Child a Voice. While some children battle critical pediatric illness, others face challenges such as bullying and abuse in their schools and homes. In addition to the immediate harm it causes, these difficult experiences can cause long-term emotional suffering. Eric dreams that other kids who experience difficult situations receive the same kindness he received at one of the most vulnerable times of his life. Eric started his foundation, Give a Child a Voice, to engage the community and get children and teens the help they need so positive change is possible. His dream and movement have become a reality thanks to the work being done through his foundation. I was so beyond inspired by my conversation with Eric, this 20-year-old young man who has been given such a grim diagnosis, to use his last days to inspire others, to encourage kids who have experienced bullying and so much more. I am just so thankful for all the work that he is doing, and I know that you are going to be encouraged by him too. So without further ado, on to my conversation with Eric. Eric, I am so excited to have you on the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I am just really inspired by you from everything that I have read and learned. And I just am really pumped to introduce you to the Business with Purpose podcast audience. And so we're going to just kick it right off. And I'm going to have you do what I have all my guests do, and that's give us the Eric 101. So who are you? How did you get to where you are today?
My name is Eric Erdman, and I am 20 years old. I actually kind of just turned 20 back in November.
Happy birthday, belated.
Thank you. Yeah, so I started a foundation. It's called Give a Child a Voice, and my foundation pretty much took off was me getting diagnosed with cancer. And it's my foundation. It talks about, bullying, abuse, and life-threatening illness. So these 3 main things, it's what I went through and what a lot of children go through. And our main thing about the foundation is, we'd like to educate and let people know, how important a child's voice is, because like in my life, I didn't get to speak up, and we have the platform where children can speak up and, finally, share the unfortunate stuff. Like, for example, I was being bullied, right? And I told my mom about it, but she knew, and it was bad. I would say at the start, like really bad, and but that kind of slowed down a bit. But when you get abused like I did, so it was physical and mental. It wasn't by my mom, if you're gonna ask, but that since I was abused, never I never told anybody for 3 years because it puts you almost so, let's say, so far away from everybody because you don't feel safe. Like me, I never felt safe and thought people were gonna believe me. But then when I came out to my mom and I told her when I was 16 when I got diagnosed with brain cancer, and it helps me. Everything stopped when I was 16. So the abuse went on for 3 years, and once it stopped, it was crazy. 3 years after the abuse, when I was 16, I got diagnosed now I'm at stage 4, but I got diagnosed with a stage 3 anaplastic ependymoma brain tumor. And this type of brain cancer, it's really rare. So only 200 kids a year get diagnosed, and about 52 adolescents get diagnosed each year. Now, an adolescent is from 14 to 19. So I was one of the 52 adolescents who got diagnosed, and as of right now, I actually am stage 4. So in total, I've had 4 brain surgeries, 3 rounds of radiation. But if you want to count just sessions, it'd be 61 sessions of radiation at the max dose, which as I know, I'm the only one, who is stage 4, and I went to St. Jude, and they told me that, and same as Hershey Hospital.
Wow.
So, I've been through the ringer. I had a clinical trial. It was called chemotherapy, but it was drugs that, made up of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Clinical trials, what they are, people don't know. It's basically, my doctors told it to me as it went rat monkey me. So that's how I wrap my head around it. So
Wow.
he told me that, and it's been hard. Stuff's breaking down on me. So last year of August, they actually told me, in August of 2019 that I have 6 months left to live, and this will be my final month. But I don't see they pick an end date and everything is over.
Yeah.
I know how my body is ever since, I know it sounds stupid, but ever since I was a preemie, I knew how my body, reacted because, I went through some things. I had 5 major operations when I was little, when I was a baby. I was, since being a pound 15, and then, now being, only a pound probably 35, since I lost so much weight to getting diagnosed with cancer. It's when everything took place and getting diagnosed, I knew that this was pretty much my life of since I was a premature baby, and then up until now, I was in medical all my life, and my mom hates me saying this. She always does, but to me it's true. I gotta thank cancer because by far it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And this is just for my story, and some people may not relate, some people probably could, but for me it's the best thing that ever happened. And the reason why is because my mom, my brother, and we started a foundation. And then also my aunt went back to NASCAR, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
And we actually just announced our national gym giveaway that was finished. And we picked a school. And right now, I believe the construction people, it's called CLN, Construction Leadership Network. They are, I think, working on the third gym right now. I don't know because I'm in Pennsylvania. That gym's in Texas, so I can't tell.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that happened in my life that I don't say that I have a crappy life. I mean, yeah, you can look at it and say that my life was awful because I had so much medical and I couldn't really enjoy life. But that's just how the cards play, and I wouldn't change anything because, I know now, what, I went through to help a kid in their own shoes if they have the same problems. And, yeah, for the foundation right now, it's awesome, having the foundation, reaching out, helping kids, building weight rooms, and then soon in the future, gonna do some other things, but I'm gonna keep those under wrap for now. But yeah, it's my life has been awesome.
Wow.
Gotta say,
Eric, I love your perspective, and I just want to say, thank you for sharing your story in a really honest and vulnerable way. And I know that is all of this. This is your story, and this is your life. And the fact that you are taking your story and using it to impact others and to leave a legacy. I mean, you've done more in 4 years than most people will do in their entire lives to impact others. And so I just want to encourage you and just thank you for that work, because it doesn't go unnoticed and it doesn't go unappreciated. And I'm blown away by your optimism. And there are so many people who would receive a diagnosis like you've received, and to receive words like you have 6 months left to live, or to have a history of bullying and abuse, and to just walk around feeling sorry for themselves and saying, woe is me, and my life is terrible, and just asking everybody to feel sorry for them. But you aren't doing that. And instead you're taking those hardships and you're using them for a greater good. And I'm really inspired by it. And I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Wow.
And how, I forgot to tell you and everyone else that's hearing this, my mom, she raised me, by always, paying it forward. And, that I learned with cancer, there's two ways to look at it, being sad, depressed, and hating the world. And, you can do that because, cancer is such a, what, and, or being, happy and joyful, and I went that route because the happy route, because, I found that it helped my family, and it's not, no one thinks of cancer every day. I mean, my mom does, but they're focusing on obviously the moments now rather than my diagnosis, which, I'm so happy that they are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that you say that you chose that route of optimism and positivity. And I actually heard a speaker back in January, and he's a cancer survivor, cancer overcomer. And he was talking about how when he was diagnosed with cancer, he chose the same route. And, he's like, I'm not saying that this is not everybody's story. And he said, but, I chose a route of positivity because there's scientific evidence on laughter and joy and mindset that can heal the body. And I'm not saying that that laughter is the cure for cancer, but how they studied, just all different kinds of illnesses, and not just cancer, but they studied people who, just had more positive thoughts and a positive outcome and laughed and all those kinds of things, and what it does to the brain physically, and what smiling does to your body, and how endorphins just begin to go through your body, and your body is built to, in some ways, heal itself. And maybe sometimes it's not physically, but sometimes it is emotionally, and emotionally can go a long way. Mindset can go a long way,
Yeah. Absolutely. I like before I got diagnosed, and actually I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was I was happy.
Yeah.
This was how I am now was how I was, when I, was a kid. But when I hit those couple of years, was introverted. I was shy. I didn't
Yeah.
want to speak about anything. And my mom at the time, it was funny. She goes, Eric, I think you're dealing with puberty. But I told her, about it, and she always tells me she hopes she knows, but I'm glad that now my family, we're a close knit family, and the person that done it to me, abused me, I came to a point to take it off my shoulders to where I accepted having a relationship with that person, but I don't. There's not something in my body that respects the person, if that makes
Yeah.
the person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because stuff in my body can't be fixed. What that person made, that took me for 3 years of my life of
Yeah.
not speaking up. But needless to say, thank you so much to let me share my story.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It means a lot.
And so I want to talk a little bit too about your advocacy. Obviously, you are a big advocate for children who are victims of sexual abuse or just abuse in general. But you also
abuse in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but emotional, physical. I mean, there's just so many types of abuse. And one of the things that you also talked about was your experience with bullying and being and having been bullied, and that in particular speaks to me. I was bullied mercilessly in elementary school and middle school. And so it's been, I now have kids of my own, and my daughter is in kindergarten this year. And it's a conversation we have regularly about what it looks like. I'm starting her now at the age of 6 in kindergarten. I'm talking about, if you see that there are other kids on the playground or other kids in school being mean to other kids, like, I want you to be the kid that sticks up for the other kids and to stop it in its tracks. And she's even had, issues of, kids kind of picking on her and, and so we have a lot of conversations around it. And I remember this past summer before my daughter started kindergarten, I had this just to be fully transparent. I had this just breakdown one night with my husband, and I was crying, and I was like, I think I was part of it. I was like a mom watching her kid grow up and go to kindergarten. But I mean, one of the conversations I had was that I said, I pray she never experiences what I experienced. And because, I mean, there were years in elementary school and middle school where I would fake sick so that I didn't have to go to school. And so I could avoid it. And it was merciless. And so I would just love for you, if you'd be willing to just kind of share, like, how did being bullied originally kind of impact you, and how has that experience now motivated you in your work with Give a Child a Voice?
So with me being obviously bullied, and I've learned that this is going to sound probably weird to some people, but I've learned with being a victim that you can't always say to the bullier, shame on you, because you have to think about what their home life is like. How are the parents treating that kid, for example? They might be going home and getting beat every single day, and they're coming to school and doing the same thing to a kid younger than them or smaller than them, because they're used to that. They're used to that environment. And I would say, like, in my shoes, what I never did and what I should have done was, when I was bullied, you got to speak up, share your voice, because your voice is so powerful. It can literally, like, the kids' voices, if they speak up, they're the future. And like, if I would have spoke up and said something, to, actually said stuff to the principal and stuff like that, obviously it would have stopped. I mean,
Yeah.
if children would speak up and share about, what they were going through at that moment, stuff would stop. And people always say, "Oh, don't go to the principal." No, you want to. You want to, and even try to go higher than the principal, because it's such an issue. Bullying, I mean, it's such an issue to deal with because one, the bullier, their life is probably harder than the kid who's being bullied because, like, I feel there's pain, honestly, for the kid who's the bullier.
Yeah.
Because, I wish, there's some way to help them, because you can't stop what's going home. I mean, you don't know what the kid's home life is. I wish, bullying wasn't a big deal, but, it is. And what I would do from, a kid that, was bullied, obviously, if I was, that little kid, I would speak up, tell as many people as I could, and, try to stop it. And, once you try and speak up, something's got to be done, because, the first step is speaking up. And once you do that, then, obviously they're going to sit that kid down and talk to him. And as, the bullier, what I think that the kid being sit down should obviously say, and I know it may not happen, but, tell obviously the principal or someone what your home life is like. Because, if a kid is bullying other kids, he gets sent to the principal's office, then his parents come in and get sent to the principal's office because, the kid is in there, and they get home, the beating might be even worse.
Yeah, it just gets worse.
Yeah. So me personally, first thing I would say is speak up. Kids' voices or anyone's voice is so powerful that it's a movement, and, it helps so many kids, not even yourself. I remember, I went through it, and at the moment, I was going through it, another kid was being bullied, and I didn't tell anybody about my bullied. I told my mom, that was it. But, another kid was being bullied, and I told, one of the teachers about that kid, not me, because I was at that point where I didn't feel comfortable saying anything, because at the same time I was being bullied, I was being abused. So hand in hand, I felt like I didn't trust anybody. And I don't know, I would say now, looking back, the biggest thing between the two, abuse and bullying, speak out, because one thing first, and what I preach day to day, is, a child's voice. It's so impactful.
Yes.
And it goes a long way once you say something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so at what point did you decide to take the step to begin this foundation, Give a Child a Voice?
So what's crazy is it took cancer. Honestly, it took cancer being diagnosed to start my foundation. And that sounds messed up, I know, but from starting my foundation and getting dealt with cancer, to me, I was done. I was finished. I couldn't take any more, negative stuff to happen. So that's why the foundation was started. One, because I couldn't take it. My mom knew, and she actually, what people don't know is what's kind of cool. My mom, she started the foundation, and at first foundation was about me, but then we just geared it toward, helping children, because I don't like the spotlight to be shined on me. That was never me, and that's why I make a wish, why not give it to someone else? Because I'm just not that type of person.
Wow.
To where I want something at the moment, I don't want, or it's not a want. If I would have took it, I don't know why I would, but yeah, I wouldn't. I would think, it would be wrong. So after we started the foundation, we had about 29,500 left over, and that was for the start of the foundation. But if I didn't start the foundation, we would pocket that money. That's what other people would do, pocket the money, because you have leftover from the GoFundMe, which that would be so wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's other people's money that they donated. But all in all, with bullying and stuff, with abuse, you gotta talk up, speak up about what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Because, people who are listening to this, you may, think, it's not, that's the wrong way. Trust me, to where, I was bullied, I was abused really bad. And, speaking up, it changes a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Your voice is so powerful. And the fact that you are taking your voice and you're using it to amplify the voices of other children and teenagers is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So Eric, if somebody listening just really wants to support your foundation, support the work you're doing, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, so actually, we have a website. So it's giveachildavoice.us. And also on Facebook, my Facebook is just Give a Child a Voice.
That's awesome. And so obviously, I know you take donations. So obviously, monetary donations. Is there a way that people can get involved through volunteering?
Actually, so when we do like fundraisers and stuff like that, so as of now, we had that gym going on.
Yeah.
And so here soon we may, we're going to probably start doing, volunteer work and stuff like that and helping out. And, on our website, it says on our website, if you want to, help out, just reach out. We have a link. My personal email is on there. You can just contact us if you want to help, if you want to get involved in the movement. And my story is actually on there. It's so I went to St. Jude for my last round of radiation, and they wanted me to share my story. So we actually walked. There's a building behind St. Jude, and it's called the Alsac building. And what that is where all the commercials are done. There's actually like a filming room, and I sat in there and told my story, and that's on there if anyone wants to watch that, to get some help, because there's more than just my story on our website. There's a lot of stuff, which I'm proud to say that I'm fine, with dying, because the thing is, I found something I love, and I made it a point to where okay, I'm at my happiest. I have a foundation, I have an amazing family, and I came to terms with not my doctor's months left to live, but I came to terms where if it happened tomorrow or the next day, I'm fine, because I'm at peace with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But so thank you so much for letting me speak on your podcast and letting me share the stuff that I went through.
Yeah, Eric, it's my honor, and it's a pleasure, and I'm really grateful for you, and I'm really inspired by your story, and I know other people will be too. So Eric, and obviously for the listeners, I will have all of that information in the show notes. So be sure to check that out. You can obviously access the show notes on my blog, stillbeingmolly.com/podcast, or just, I think usually on your podcast app, whatever you're listening to, you can just kind of scroll up and the show notes will be there for you. So Eric, but before we go, this is one of my favorite parts of the show, and it's just where I get to ask some fun, kind of lighthearted, get to know you questions. So
right.
Is that cool with you, Eric?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Ask away.
All right. So the first question is, if you were a professional athlete, what's your favorite sport?
Keep going with that question.
Okay.
I like basketball, football, anything really.
Okay, cool. So say like your hype song. So you're right. You're a professional basketball player. Who's your team?
I would say professional football.
All right, professional football.
Playing.
All right. So who's your team?
Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I like the Steelers.
Oh, no, Eric. I'm a Browns fan.
Listen, our quarterback, we have a problem.
Oh, I'm a Browns fan, but that's okay. And you know what? The fact that you as a Steelers fan and me as a Browns fan, like we can be friends, that just shows that
we're going to be the bottom of the bracket for like 18 years plus.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Okay. So in this hypothetical situation, you are like the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and your hype song is playing in the stadium as you walk out to center field to, do the coin toss or whatever. What hype song is playing over the loudspeakers?
You're gonna hate me, but so I don't have like any particular song, but a song that actually I first listened to back in the old days was "Stand By Me" of Benny King.
Yes, I love that song. Funny enough, our church actually did that. So our church was doing, this is totally random, but our church was doing a marriage series, and our worship team did "Stand By Me" this past weekend. So yeah, it's a favorite song of mine too. I like it.
Stand by me.
I like it.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Question number 2 is, what is your most unusual talent?
Usual talent. Well, my walking is really bad. So like my equilibrium, I don't know how to say that word, but that's all off.
Yeah.
So since all my brain surgeries, I can't walk straight, or like, so long distances, I have to use, a walker, wheelchair. My best talent is to running into walls.
Really?
When I walk straight.
Oh, Eric, I love your sense of humor. You are awesome. Okay, I thought this would be a good question for you. What makes you feel the most alive?
Helping people.
I love that. I love that. What is, when you are maybe you're visiting a school or you're out doing something, is there something in particular that you just really love to do with people that you're helping?
Okay, 2 answers. 1, I love meeting them.
Yeah.
2, I like them to get out of their comfort zone. Like some people, so when I was in California, we went to this one school, and like some people don't like shaking hands. So when they like walk around, I stop them, give them a hug, and they can get going. But I don't know. Probably, I don't know. I would say, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
That's all right.
Okay.
I think meeting people is great, and just, I just have loved kind of seeing some of the stories of you visiting schools and talking to kids, and I can just see it through the smile on your face.
I like being myself around them. So I'm such a goofball, but yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, this is also a fun one. If there were to be a movie made about your life, who would you want to play you in that movie?
I got so many. Okay, I can't let Robert De Niro. Can't let him play, because my one of my favorite movies is Goodfellas. But
nice.
Let me think. Favorite? Okay, who wants to play me? I'll say Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Why I like Ryan so much? So my uncle, my godfather actually, he got recently diagnosed with Parkinson's, and Ryan Reynolds, he actually, I think, he has his own foundation that supports Parkinson's.
Oh, wow.
He's really involved with Parkinson's.
Wow.
So that's why.
That's awesome.
I'm close to my godfather.
That's awesome. Why. That's really awesome. Okay. And then this is my last question. And this is the question I ask all my guests. And that is, what does it mean to you to run a business with purpose?
I would say it's honestly, it means the world because, me getting to, do my dream and actually do it my way and, helps a random person who has, lost their way and, they can't find out, their way and they, lost where they're going because their life is so twisted, backed up 180'd, and they're so lost. And to see, have that person be cheerful when they're, all they do is just cry. And to help, that one person that, will change their life forever. Ever, I would say that's mine to, be able to, give children, an opportunity to, actually, speak their mind and, get out and not being scared, not being judged, but yeah, I would just say, having children to be able to, speak out and share their voice without judgment and to, just be themselves. I would say that's mine.
That's fantastic. Eric, thank you so much. I really, truly, truly, truly am so grateful for you. And thank you for the work that you're doing. And I am rooting for you. I am praying for you. And please keep in touch because I genuinely, I'm just really passionate about your story. And I can't wait to see how many millions of lives you are able to impact through your legacy. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much. And what's your business thing?
What's my business with purpose?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never had anyone ask me that. That's the first time anyone's ever asked me that question on the show. Well, I'll just answer it for the podcast because obviously I have a larger, greater life mission of just sharing how much the Lord has impacted me and changed my life. But through this podcast, my passion is just educating others that it doesn't matter where you are or what you do or what stage of life you're in or what has happened to you in the past or what will happen to you in the future. You can make a difference wherever you are and you can impact people in so many ways. And I just want to encourage and challenge other people to leave a legacy of purpose and passion and impact.
That's amazing. That's a good one to end it on. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you,
being
Eric.
on your show.
Thank you. I told you that today's guest would be so inspiring, but don't click away. I actually have a special little bonus part of this episode. Since I am recording some content here at home right now during the coronavirus, I thought it might be fun to invite some special guests onto the show for a few minutes just to kind of make you laugh, make you smile, and maybe encourage you. So I'd like to introduce you to my kids. So I have my sweet, precious, beautiful children here with me. Lily, can you say hi?
Hi.
And Amos, can you say hi?
Hi.
And this is my first time formally introducing you guys to my podcast listeners. Do you guys know what a podcast is?
Yeah.
I think it's something where you share things about your life and stuff.
Oh, yeah, kind of. You guys listen to podcasts.
Uh-huh.
What-
Like Wow in the World.
Yeah, that's the only podcast you guys listen to, right? Yeah. Wow in the World.
Yeah.
Do you like listening to Wow in the World, buddy?
Yeah.
This is not a sponsored post or podcast for Wow in the World.
I want to do one by myself.
Okay, Amos wants to say something by himself. Okay, you don't need to touch the mixrophone. So what do you want to say?
No, stop it.
Hello, my name is Amos, and I want to say butt cheek. So, butt cheek.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that right there, guys, is an introduction to my 4-year-old son who loves to say butt cheek. Now, Lily, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lily Stillman, age 6, and I'm in kindergarten. And I lost one tooth.
I'm preschool.
Okay, yeah, Amos is in preschool. Okay, and you lost one tooth?
Uh-huh. And now I have a really wiggly one.
Yeah, you do have a wiggly tooth. How is it right now?
It's really wiggly.
It's really wiggly?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that it's going to fall out soon?
Uh-huh.
Do you think you're going to get $5 from the tooth fairy?
maybe even $5.
$5 is $5. So what has been hard for you?
What has been hard for you?
Okay, Amos, hold on. I'm asking Lily a question. What has been hard for you about the coronavirus?
So we had a Disney cruise planned and we can't go on it.
Yeah, that was pretty hard.
And it was also my mom. It was also my mom's Christmas present.
It was my Christmas present, but we
So I want to talk to you guys.
Okay, Amos.
We had our home Disney cruise.
We are doing a home Disney cruise right now, isn't it? And Mommy's actually wearing Mickey ears as we speak, right?
And it's in it. And do you like to buy? Bye.
And I just want
Wait,
to.
come
I
here.
want to share something about.
Bye bye.
I want to share something about me.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
I have a giant stuffed cat, and also I have a baby.
Okay, well, you have to stand in front of the microphone.
I have a toy baby, and I have her since my very first Christmas.
That's right. Yeah, you have had Pink Star Baby a really long time. That's her name, is Pink Star Baby. All right.
She's pink. She has a star, and she's a baby.
That's right. She has a very literal name, Pink Star Baby. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the listeners before we go? Any words of wisdom? What's maybe something you've learned recently that you want people to know?
I've learned that avocados are fruit.
Oh, well, there you go, folks. So that is Lily imparting some wisdom to you. Thanks for coming on my show today for a little bit.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Love you, Mama.
Mwah.
Ew.
Amos, do you want to say anything else? Do you want to say anything that you've learned recently?
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
I need my watch.
I hope that made you smile. As always, if you loved something about this week's episode, or if you learned something or were encouraged by something, please let me know on social media. You can find me at Still Being Molly or at Business with Purpose Podcast on Instagram or Facebook. And don't forget that hashtag Business with Purpose Podcast. As always, thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. If you are a first-time listener of the show, welcome. Be sure to visit the archives for past shows featuring amazing entrepreneurs and business owners who are literally changing the world with their businesses. And if you are a regular listener of the show, thanks so much for tuning in and week out, and thank you for your support. Be sure to head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public, Google Play, basically wherever you listen to podcasts, and click that subscribe button to help make sure you never miss a new episode. And if you have a moment, would you take a moment to leave a review? Leaving a review just really helps me to know what you're liking and how the show is personally impacting you. This show is produced by Third Wheel Media. Thank you so much for listening.
Now go do something good with purpose on purpose.